Alright, so this game I'm going to be playing Twisted Fate versus what appears to be Syndra. It's a pretty even matchup per se, but at level 6 you just have to be very cautious of her burst. Other than that, it'll be a farm lane until you get ganks, and then you'll just utilize your ult to help out your team. The runes I'm running: movement speed quints, armor reds, no, armor yellows, hybrid penetration reds, so 8.5 armor pin and 5.5 magic pin, armor yellows, flat MR blues, and again movement speed quints. 2109 masteries, because I don't run 9 in defense on Twisted Fate because I kind of just play like a pansy and farm from a mile away. So I don't like very often or very rarely do I need the 9 in defense to like survive an engagement. So one thing that like a lot of mid laners or solo laners don't take into account, I don't think, is when picking or choosing champions or anything, is they take into account who they're just gonna lane against. Whereas, sure, that's important, but you also have to consider who their jungler is. So like, Syndra has a very limited mobility after she burns flash, so her against myself and Jarvan should be guaranteed kills every time her flash is down, providing Jarvan plays it correctly. I'm going to start a flask, one ward, and a health pot. Reason being is Mundo has a lot of kill potential early, just off of his base damages and abilities once he gets red and exhaust. So if I do have a ward down, he has no flash or anything, so it should be pretty easy to avoid.
I reckon. Lost a fair game, or played one.
Always start with your W on TF. It allows you to CS at level 1 just by pulling blue cards repeatedly. Makes it really easy because of if you're not used to his attack animations and whatnot. And then after that you'll max Q and W second. Get 1 point in E at level 4.
Always on the run. Only 2 jokers in the deck, and I get you. Cheater's just a fancy word for winner. Never lost a fair game, or played one.
When leashing, you'll see a lot of people pull like a red card and whatnot. And sure, it helps the AoE, but the small creeps are so like weak now that it's unnecessary. So blue card does the most damage.
Don't mind if I do.
One thing you have to be aware of when that when an enemy jungler starts blue like that with exhaust, it's pretty common for that person to invade your red. So very smart of Jarvan, he actually caught the Mundo at red. But provided he would have just got ganked, I would have been there to respond.
Don't mind if I do.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Always on the run.
I just turned the stream on.
Looking good. Eyes open.
So because Mundo was dead, I didn't have to ward. But now that he's back up, I'm just going to throw the ward down.
Just the luck of the draw.
Otherwise, if I had warded super early and he's dead, because he died, he's going to be really far behind. So there's no need for me to just waste like 60 seconds on that ward. Because the chances of him ganking you are pretty much slim to none. Another tip when in mid lane, and if you have a side warded, hug that side. Like, there's no need for me to just sit up in the top side where I could get ganked by Mundo.
All in the cards.
Can't help this guy right now. Another tip is be aware of how your opponent throws out their skill shots. The Syndra likes to, when I come into CS, she likes to throw out her Q where I'm going to stop to stand to right click to CS. So an easy way to bait that in the future, if you actually care to avoid it, which isn't such a big deal for me right now as long as I get the CS, is like, when you fake to run into CS, just run out. So you'll fake in and fake out, and I'll show you like how that'll work.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Her not having flash is much more painful for her than it is for me, because my jungler is ahead, whereas hers is behind. So,
Clear as day.
oh man.
Always on the run.
I'm kind of playing with fire right now
Just the luck of the draw.
by staying mid, but I'm pretty confident that she recalled because she didn't have a lot of mana, so she's afraid of Jarvan. So I just use that opportunity to push the next wave, deny her a little bit here. So just that decision denied her two. Not even 2 CS, it's not even about the CS at that point, it's more about the XP. I always start Sheen first just because I like the mana pool itself. The extra 200 mana is really strong.
I'm one of a kind.
Thing that I like to do whenever my jungler's top,
An ally has been slain.
I always ward my
My lucky day.
my blue, because the common play jungling is kind of like chess per se. When the enemy jungler does something else, you have to make another play to counter it. And a pretty common play at higher elo is, let's just say Jarvan was top killing Teemo, Mundo will be like, oh, he's top, I'm gonna go take his blue. So I just ordered to try and catch him there. Again, Syndra has a lot of burst, level 6. She falls off as the game goes on. Meaning she can't just, like, she can burst one person and that's it. So there's really nothing to be, like, too afraid of late game. Sure, she can kill one person, kind of like a Blanc can, but that's it. Just don't die to her in lane and you should be okay.
Looks like trouble. It's my lucky day. It's all in the cards.
I don't think I'll reach him. So the Varus did that so he could counteract.
Just the luck of the draw. Hold it, partner. Nobody touches the hat.
So the Varus was dead 100%. So what I did there to make it out was it's fine. Not to make it out, but I knew he was dead, so I just let my team kill him, so I could pick up a kill here. Sure, Tarek killed me, but it's just Tarek, you know, no big deal. I could have. I didn't have flash up to make a play on that. I got creep blocked down here.
Deal.
No big deal. Yeah. See, I wasn't the only one lagging in that fight. The downside is I lost my blue, so that was sad.
I reckon.
I'm 10 CS behind, but I decided to pick up a lucky pick. I like a lucky pick on TF because I roam a lot, and then that just makes up for the CS that I'm missing in lane.
Feeling blue. Looking good.
Mid, warded, both sides. So, Syndra just came in and warded here, and then she came in and warded here.
Don't mind if I do.
I'm going to turn this into a Morello's Nomicon.
Charmed,
I really like that item, definitely against someone like Mundo. So. You see how I'm warding on the outside of the bush rather than the inside? This makes a huge difference, because if I ward on the inside, it doesn't give that little bit of vision right here, which will allow their enemy jungler to run up through my jungle and gank top lane from back behind the tri-brush. Just that, I mean, just small fraction of a position.
An enemy has been slain.
Always on the run.
So my first ult was successful. Now I just need my second ult to be successful. The early game ults on TF are like the most important part of the game for you.
Don't mind if I do.
She'll burst me if I run in, so I have to be careful. Like it just take a Q ult and ignite and I should die. So I knew Ignite would pick up the kill there. I didn't want to stay anywhere near her where she could potentially get, like, just ult me. So as soon as I clear this wave, I'm gonna go pick up my large rod. Actually, I'm going to get a Lich Bane
Luck of the draw.
for the movement speed. I really like the movement speed, and I like the utility that it offers. so allows you to roam a lot easier.
I reckon.
Combines really well with movement speed quints.
Doing it.
So she still has everything. She didn't use flash, she didn't use ignite. So in a fight right now, she would beat me, heads up. Well, she should probably beat me no matter what. Because she's Syndra, she's a burst assassin, and I'm not.
It's my lucky day.
I knew she was going to ult me there with her spheres down, and there was no reason for me to sit there. So I just flashed away from her ult, let my team pick up the kill. Just, again, something you need to just be aware of.
Let it ride.
My motto against assassins, any sort of assassin, whether it's LeBlanc, whether it's Talon, whether it's Akali, I just don't die to them. It's such a huge, I can't say it enough to just not die.
I'm one of a kind.
And I also like the Lich Bane right there for picking up
I reckon.
towers. Makes towers killing really easy.
Charmed, I'm sure. Pick a card.
Killing spree.
So every time my ult's up, I'm just going to take advantage of it. Try and help my team snowball. There's times to use a TF ult, and there's a time not to. That was a perfect time. I'll explain times not to. And you don't want to ult. What a lot of people do, and this could be just my own little opinion per se, but I don't like when a TF on my team or even against me. I do like it when they do this, but they'll recall and then they'll ult from the base, and they don't coordinate with their jungler enough to cover the lane. And by not doing that, they lose out. They'll lose a lot of XP. The XP just goes to no one, and the mid just pretty much pushes down and takes this tower eventually if they're strong at pushing. And that just, when you lose your mid tower in a solo queue game, the pressure that just adds to the map, to the rest of your team, is huge. So huge. That's why if you watch professional games, people are like, oh, they gotta get mid, trading mid for top is always a good trade. And the reason that's a good trade is because mid lane gives you the presence, the map presence, to roam off through here in these parts of the jungle. Whereas top, sure top, but top just gives you security of these area, this area right here. It doesn't necessarily give you red or anything, because you can't run up through this pathing all the way up in here. You can't run this way. You can't run in and take a pathing in there.
Being ready.
So mid lane just gives you so much more map control than any other lane does.
I'm one of a kind.
So you always want to coordinate. Ouch. Notice how every time this game I was like, I'm going to gank bottom after recalling, and then I say, hey Jarvan, cover mid. And, you know, he just went on casually and covered mid. And that helps out. Not only does it help me, like, keep my tower, it also helps him, because yeah, he killed Mundo early, but Mundo's level 11 and he's 12. He's been 2 levels ahead of him the entire game.
I reckon.
Later on, like, one full level at level like 12 or 13 is a lot different than, say, level 6 and 8, because the amount of XP needed to actually level up.
Doing it.
So I have a pretty standard build on Twisted Fate, and this is essentially it. Lichbane, Hourglass, Morello's Nomicon, Void's Staff.
Destroyed a turret.
Ouch.
Looking good.
And the reason I prefer that build, that Itemization, so the Hourglass, the Lichbane, and the Morello's Nomicon, is it gives you 40% CDR, it gives you a GP10 early to make up for the CS you miss while you're roaming, and it also gives you the Hourglass, and the Hourglass is so strong in every regard, because TF, everyone just likes to dive him in team fights. So the Hourglass, no matter what you're against, if you're against a burst mage like Syndra, and she ults, when she like calls all of her spheres up and she as those spheres are in the air, you can Hourglass and it will cancel the damage and it'll make her ult go on cooldown. You can do the same thing against a Zed. So when Zed ults you, you let your little red dot get on you, and you know, you just can pretty much count to 3 in your head. Hourglass, boom, the damage won't even go off on you. He wasted his ult. LeBlanc can't burst you, and the common sense to all these AP is you're like, oh, I'm gonna build MR because magic resist counters burst AP, and I kind of find that true in a way, like sustained damage. But if you want like a champion who's reliant on that one combo, whether it be Fizz or whether it be Syndra, LeBlanc, Zed, you can just get an Hourglass and Hourglass their combo and take pretty much 0 damage. So again, I'm gonna go over my runes that I ran that game. It's my hybrid movement speed page. Movement speed quints, hybrid pin reds, flat armor yellows, and flat armor blues. And my masteries, 3 in sorcery for the CDR. Because I pull blue cards so much, I feel that I don't really need the butcher. So I spec into Summoner's Wrath for the ignite mastery. 4 in blast for the AP per level, 1 in arcane knowledge for the extra magic pin, 3 in havoc for the magicking or the increased damage, 1 in spell sword because you auto attack a lot with TF. So having 5% of your ability power every auto attack is pretty strong as the game goes on when you get like 500 AP or even 300. Into force for AP, 4 in archmage for increased AP, and then executioners for 5% damage dealt to targets below 50%. And then I come over here. You can run one of 2 things. TF doesn't really need mana regen because he has his blue card. However, I like it early just for spamming levels probably like 1 through 5. When I have to Q, like let's say I get ganked and I'm low on HP, and I need to spam Qs from a mile away, and I can't really get in really tight to blue card to get my mana back. I find this to be much more useful than Wanderer, because Wanderer is movement speed when you're out of combat, and I find as TF you're not really out of combat that often because you don't have to run very far to ult. So you run maybe what a thousand range, like 1,000 meter range, and then you ult down bottom, and when you're there, like as soon as you get bottom, this passive does nothing for you because you're automatically in combat. When you cast a spell, so when you cast your ult, this comes off because when you cast your ult, you're in combat. So I don't really like this that much. And then I spec over here for the flash CDR, 15%. Then I go 3 in Mastermind for more summoner spell CDR, for more flash, and then I go runic affinity for the buff duration. Again, you can run either of these two. I just find that when I run movement speed quints, I have that movement speed 24/7. Rather than this one is only when I'm running pretty much to and from the base, and it's not that great of a deal. Like if you take it out here and you put 3 in it, it's a 2% movement speed. So that is how I play Twisted Fate. And no. Go to my stats. My stats are pretty good with them. I'm 12 and 4. Just started playing him, picking him up again in the past probably week or so. So 12 and 4 in diamond bracket, 7.1 KDA, 4.7 deaths, and 8.4 assists. So that's my Twisted Fate. Thanks, and hope you enjoyed it.